I'm Duncan Ferguson and you're watching Toffee TV.
Right, welcome back to Toffee TV. We are discussing the ground because it's been Walton Park, which we pretty already knew, didn't we? But that's not really the statement.
No.
The statement is Walton Park, it's gone. Knock it on the head. Listen, not moaning anyone, not blaming anyone, because I don't know who pulled the plug. We might have pulled the plug, I don't know. But the interesting thing Joe Anderson said, the mayor of Liverpool, is the club have identified 2 other places. They're not parks, which is straight away good for me, because I'm just not completely against building on parks in Liverpool. And he reckons it's going to be built within 3 years, which is really, really interesting.
It tells you that the part way down the line.
Yeah,
that's what it tells you.
I mean, ideally, without, you know, where, and I don't just mean where as in I'd like it there, but I mean realistically, where would you? Where
you said it's, what is it, brown belt or something?
Brown belt, which basically means it's not a, it's like it's not a park.
Yeah. For me, the 2 places, and we've discussed this before, is
maybe
one.
It's Bobby's old belt.
One is one's Ed's Lane.
I think
where I think you're straight in and straight out. I think your links to the motorway, your links to the city centre. That would be one for me, and I think the other one would be in the city centre. I would love it somewhere along.
Where though? I mean, this is what I'm asking for though.
Docklands. Well, where I actually think it'll be Stonebridge Lane.
Well, yeah, Stonebridge. They've been talking about Croxteth for years.
That's like, where I think
behind the scenes, there was a development with Sainsbury's a few years back for up Stonebridge Lane, Croxteth. There's a big, massive area there which they can build on. To be honest, it's perfect, apart from the fact. Not that it's not having to go Croxteth, it's just that it's that far out the city. Yeah. You know, that's the issue.
Personally, I think it could be there, but I would like it to be within the city centre, down at one of the Docklands or on Ed's Lane. That for me, they would be my 2. If I could handpick it, they would be the 2 places.
City centre for me as well, because I live down the road, be fine. Just walk out, get to the ground in 5 minutes.
Well, there's an area of Docklands by the old Heritage Market. There on and you know where the Titanic Hotel is, and I actually seen a picture on Twitter before, and someone had took the Everton's ground and put it on the space. Now obviously the ground probably needs to be a little bit bigger.
Did it fit?
It fitted, but then you've got to, the problem is it's the transport. You've got a load of old buildings there. You've got basically 1 lane road. There's not much room down there.
Do you think Edge Lane would be the same though?
I don't. I know a lot of people have this argument, but the thing about Edge Lane is, though, Matt, and I know loads of people saying the traffic's terrible there, but Edge Lane's the kind of place that you're coming in the motorway, you're back on the motorway within 10 minutes. Or you can disperse in like loads of different directions. Look at Queen's Drive on a match day for Liverpool fans. It's backed up all the way to the 62 because it's the only way in. It's the only way and up the it's the only way into Liverpool's ground and it's the only way out for most of their fans. At least with Edge Lane, you can disperse in loads of different directions across the city. Now, I'm sure they would put extra.
But you think about it,
trains as well as 2 train stations.
You think about it down there where you mentioned the Docklands. You can get out onto the Strand down that way quite easily, can't you? You can get up to, like, my girlfriend drives from, which comes from Blackpool, but then she drives down that way when she comes off the motorway there.
But where would you park?
You can get up onto.
Where would you park?
Yeah, but that's up to the club, isn't it?
Yeah. No, but what I'm doing, I'm telling you right now, right, all them buildings down there are probably going for about 2-3 million quid now. They're all worth a fortune.
They're nothing though.
Town is
that's nothing.
Town, no, but
within a football, within a stadium development, 2 or 3 million is expanding. No, it has.
It's expanding outwards. You have to look at the Titanic Hotel. There are going to be loads more buildings going up around there, loads more developments going up around there.
You bought 10 of those buildings, it's only an extra 20.
I don't think you're allowed to knock them buildings down.
Well, it depends if the grade 2, if the grade 2 listed, we can't touch them. But
that's what I'm saying. It's not only that I'm not poo-pooing it. Money does a lot of things, but they'd have to find a place where people could park straight away. You've got good links with like trains,
you've got the
ferry and Sandhills and
buses,
that kind of thing. And you're only a 10-minute walk into town. So from that point of view, it's not a massive issue. But a lot of work and a lot of thought would have to go into it. But listen, if it was going to become an iconic stadium, then why not? Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying I would never write anything off.
I just think with Mashiri, I think he's gonna. I'm saying Stonebridge Lane because I know that could be done. That's been mentioned before, and it's probably easy to throw together.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But if this fella, have different ideas. He might have a picture in his mind where he wants it, and it's, look, this is where we want it. And for Everton, for him to say today they're going to be playing in it by 2019, that's some statement.
That's it. And
that is some statement.
That struck me as well. He didn't say we're going to start building it in 3 years. He said it'll be up and running and ready to go in 3 years.
You know.
So if you're looking at something like the docks, which obviously we just talked about, might take a bit of time to get sorted, might take a bit, a bit more meticulous process.
Is it already sorted?
Exactly, yeah.
You don't know, do you? But
I think it would be very, very hard to build there. I really do.
I'm just saying that's where I'd love.
Stonebridge Lane, it's actually all there. The only issue is there's no rail links to it.
No.
So that's out the window. The closest one is for Zachley, and that's a hell of a walk unless they did some kind of.
They'll do buses
in from there.
Well, you know.
But road wise, it's absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
You can get away
within the actual land that there's a lot of land there. There's a lot of land over the road as well where they've already started, where they've been built. Where they've built a lot of things on already, but there's nothing in them. So you could have there's a lot of stuff over there that people could get hold of and use, or Everton could use for offices or whatever. There's a lot of potential up there.
I think
there's a home and bargain as well.
I think bakery. Edge Lane is.
I think Edge Lane's because they've got a big
with the new retail park.
Rather Edge Lane than.
I'd rather Edge Lane.
Think of the retail park.
New retail park, new houses. There's a cracking B&M. There's a lot of land up there that could be used. There's things that need.
That's John Moore's building, the big white one. It's just not new.
That's staying. That's staying.
So
there's a lot of land.
There's
a lot of land that just needs to be moved around a little bit. Do you know what I mean? There's a few buildings there that could be easily just knocked down, and you could replace whatever was in there, like the gym and with other places. No problem. You could rebuild their places. It's just a case of knocking a few things down, getting a spot and building it. The road links are not exactly perfect, but as I say, you can get in and out, and there's 2 train stations. You can be back in town within 5 minutes on a train from Waverley Tech. Waverley Tech's a pretty new station. Edge Hill's not so new, but Waverley Tech would be fine. It's basically the same as Kirkdale is. So from that point of view, that's actually perfect. It's quite central as well. So from that point of view, I think that's a perfect one. But
I think we're going to completely rule out developing Goodison then.
In 3 years, that tells me that it can't be done. But I'd happily stay at Goodison. If they said we're going to have 1 new stand built in 3 years or 2 new stand, but that's going to be very difficult because for 3 years, to rebuild Goodison, you need to knock houses down. It's as simple as that, and that's not going to happen in 3 years. You're not even going to get permission in 3 years. You wouldn't even get purchase orders.
Saying they're playing in it in 2019 is,
which I do still take with a pinch of salt.
I was going to say,
why didn't he just say that's the idea? Is that by 2019?
It sounds like something like it sounds like an off the cuff sort of comment.
He said it though. Evan didn't say it.
He's also the one that said Evan hadn't done A, B, and C.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not calling him a liar.
No,
not by any means. He's got onto gain by it. It's just he's already won the election. It's not. He's got onto gain by it.
It's just interesting, isn't it? Because it just makes you think that it is further along. Like you say, I think it's.
Do we think Mashiri stepped in here though? Because it does feel like in the last couple of weeks he might have stepped in a few places already.
Yeah, especially with reports like coming out saying we're going to have a completely new structure and a director of football and all that sort of thing, and the manager getting dismissed in the way he did. It seems as though a line sort of just been drawn,
there's been a shift.
Been pushed forward.
There's been a shift now in power, and I'd heard a couple of things that they'd already been on 3 or 4 sites seeing.
Well, he said there's 2 sites,
things.
So he wouldn't go into what the 2 sites where you can rule out. Obviously, we've ruled out Walton Park, and
so there's 2 other
land
sites.
Land is a premium Liverpool. There's nowhere really now. I mean, there's this actually. I know we missed out massively on the arena, but if you went back 2 or 3, I know, mate. But if you went back 2 or 3 years ago, you'd find land all over the city.
Yeah.
But if you'd got in there before the Jennifer project on Scotty Road, you could have had a ground in Everton if we'd done it 2 or 3 years ago. But now, if you go around the city, there's not many places. The city centre's getting bought up like that. It's expanding. So
that in a way would be why it'd be so good to find somewhere, wouldn't it? Because the city's getting so good and everything's building around it. As you said, it's growing out again. Liverpool's getting more and more modernised.
The dock one would be perfect because I think within 5 years, I think that's going to be it. Look at the Baltic now, Baltic Triangle. Look how that's such a thriving area in Liverpool. I think the other end's going to be like that soon. That Titanic, they wouldn't have just put a Titanic hotel in the middle of nowhere. That is going to start. I mean, I know people down there who own properties and they've been offered 2-3 million for their old garages where they do but they're like no, because within 2-3 years they're going to be worth 5. Because they expect the area to go.
It's just going
to keep going. So if we had the ground down there, at the moment you might go, well, it's near town, it's not quite. Within 5 years that'll be part of town.
Yeah.
So again, iconic on the front. That's where I'd love to have it. Whether that can happen, but listen, if you'd asked me this last year, I would have just laughed in your face. But now, Mr. Mashiri and his
associates,
like a West Ham style farewell to Goodison.
We'll bring Ale Barrett on in the taxi, shall we?
Did he get Billy Nectar off back?
God. Tell you what, West Ham, I've got a list of esteemed.
Let's
Let's wrap. Right, where do you want a potential new ground to be? Where would you like it to be? Or would you just like, no, we've got to stay at Goodison. We've got to stay at Goodison, said Dave, who owns the Winslow. What are your thoughts on the matters? Tell us in the comments what should come next. Should the fans have a say on it, or did we mess that up when we all voted to go to Kirby? Not all, of course. Tell us what you think in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe. We're on Facebook as well. We're on Twitter as well at Toffee TV 1. Find us, all those things. See you soon on Toffee TV.